Can everyone see the presentation okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, so as I said, we are at week 3 of our LinkedIn optimization workshops, and we are focusing, we're basically just going, all the way down to each section. And this week we are focusing on the profile language and the experience section, especially using the PAR method, which I will tell you all about today in case you haven't heard of it. But let's focus first on language. So it's pretty simple. I'm going to actually hop over to my profile so we can do it step by step together. This looks like many steps, but in fact, it is not. So it also can be helpful as I am showing you for you to do it at the same time, just to double check if everything is set in order on your profile. So here I go. So once you're on your LinkedIn, you're going to go to Me. Me is really, the place where you're going to make all your changes. And I'm going to go down to language, right? So Me, scroll down to language. I also, sometimes if I click, I don't know what is still being shared. Yes. So once I click, right, it's going to show me the language that I'm using on LinkedIn. My language is English. If I were to update it, right, then my whole, my instructions as well as my profile will go into a different language. I think that's pretty basic, right? So there's, of course, another way you can do it, but it's more complicated. If you go to profile, and you can also do this in settings, but it's nice that it's here. So if you also wanted to go to settings, and then you're going to scroll down to general preferences and language, it's the same thing. One thing that my colleague Alina shared with me, because she had this issue, I have never had it, but I'm sure maybe some of you do, is she was using her LinkedIn on her phone. And when she updated her language on her computer version, she still had Ukrainian on her phone. And this was mixing the languages. And I have seen this quite often in different people's profiles where you have most of it in English, but then some of it in Russian or Ukrainian. So my advice would be to have the same language in both, areas. So when you do it on your computer, this is one change. And then if you do have the LinkedIn app on your cell phone, please also make that change there, or else it can create some issues on your profile. And she even said she had to do it twice because there was some bug. So yeah, that's just a little, something to note if you're confused, if you change the language, but you still see Ukrainian or Russian throughout it. The other thing to pay attention to with language is to double check the different areas within your profile. So, to go to the skills section, to go to the about section, the job titles, even when you're adding like what languages do you speak, I have often seen that the language itself isn't in English, right? It says, for example, Russian in Russian or Ukrainian in Ukrainian. So yeah, just do be diligent with checking your language consistency. And I would recommend to have your profile in English. If you're only able to fill it out, parts of it in Ukrainian, that's okay. Just ask your job coach or ask me for support in translating it. Do I have any questions about the language? Was anyone having issues updating their LinkedIn language? That is a good question, Anna. So the question for everyone is, do language preferences impact only what we see in the app or web, or what the user sees? So my understanding, it impacts what you see, but the person who is viewing your profile, I believe, will also, okay, let me think about this, will also see it in the language you have converted. So for example, if one of you has your profile language in Ukrainian, I will see it in Ukrainian, but I have the option to translate it because my LinkedIn is in English. Any other questions? Okay, so that's great. You changed the language, but the experience is in Ukrainian. In that case, you will have to work on translating it by hand, exactly. Okay. Yeah, so definitely try that out, see what issues you encounter, and let us know, let your job coach know, or let me know if you have additional questions or issues. One thing that is unrelated, but I did include it here because it's still about language in general, is do check the verbs in your job duty section for the tense. Because if this is a position that you held in the past, then your verb, your action, will also be in the past. It's something, it's easy to just update to the verb ending ed instead of the present or present continuous. Okay, so we're gonna, this is just a sheet that is like a to-do list. We're gonna go ahead and skip over that. And mostly today, I would like to focus on the experience section with you all. Oh, sorry, I'm going to read the questions here. Send a link to my profile for you to check. Yes, you can definitely send me your profile link and I will look it over and give suggestions. Okay, so the about or the experience section is kind of like the meat of the sandwich if you think of your profile as a sandwich, and it really describes the previous or current roles if you are currently employed, and the positions that you have held and the responsibilities. So we're going to focus in on the responsibilities, but of course included in that is your job title, the time frame that you were employed, right, the exact dates and years, and the skills related to that position. But today, I really just want to zoom in on the part that is describing your responsibilities. So a few reminders about that section. It is not sufficient to copy and paste from your resume. Definitely use your resume as a guide, but you're not going to want to include all the information that is on your resume on your LinkedIn. You really want to focus on the key points that highlight your experience. And if you're thinking also about who is your audience, who is reading your profile, it is the recruiters, it's individuals from HR, and depending on what positions you're applying to, right, you want to just keep those people in mind when you're writing your description. Another thing to remember is to use strong active verbs, and I'll show you a few examples of that. The length of the section is 2,000 characters. It will automatically stop you from adding more if you go over that limit. And I think it's always helpful to know, why are you spending time to do this? Why is this important? And the work experience section, they've done different studies, leads to 8 times more profile views and 5 times more connection requests and 10 times more messages. So basically it improves your profile in a way that lets people engage with you more. And at the end of the day, in order to find a job, that's really what you want, right? You want people to look at your profile, you want people to accept your connection requests, and this is one way to get there. And then there's another fun fact here. Members who include at least one position receive up to 3.5 times as many profile views. So having that experience on your profile really boosts the engagement. So let's focus in on that part. So the description is an overview of your work. And like I said before, it describes your responsibilities, achievements, and the technology, for example, or the tools that you use in that position. And in this example, we have an engineering manager, and at the bottom, we have the skills. And LinkedIn makes it easy for us in that it actually automatically will pull suggestions from your description. So it's getting easier and easier because a lot of the things are now automated. Before you had to type everything in, now a lot of it is automated, or at least they give you helpful suggestions. So I want to jump over to the PAR definition, and then we're going to go back and look at additional examples. PAR is an acronym that stands for problem or project, action, and result. So the problem or project, I think for the job description, it's easier to think about it as a project. So what was the project that you focused on in this position? And it's okay if there's numerous ones, right? Maybe there's 3 main projects over, let's say, 5 years that you worked on. And what was, of course, you have to describe what was the project and focusing in on what was your major responsibility in that project. So what were the things that you contributed? And that leads us to action, right? What were the actions that you took as an individual or as part of a team to contribute to that project? And this also flows nicely into the next part, which is the result. And this can be one of the hardest parts. So definitely reach out to your job coach to get some feedback or support on this if you need, especially if it's a job that you had quite a while back. Like it's difficult to remember what were the exact percentage or numbers. But the result is much stronger if you can refer to quantifiers, right? Quantifiers meaning any number, any percentage. Even when you're talking about the size of a team or the number of clients that you communicated with, all of that gives a much clearer picture. And at the end, that's what we want. We want someone to read it and really understand what was the level of your work, what was the contribution of your work. If I said, for example, I work or I contributed to supporting many clients, that is not as strong as if you say, on a weekly basis, I communicated with 35 clients, right? So that's just a basic example, right, of how you can enhance the strength of a statement, just referring to results. Any questions about this PAR tool or PAR structure?
Yes, I have some questions.
Sure, Maxime.
Hello everyone. Sorry for delay. I'd like to ask whether we need to highlight in the job descriptions a real crisis or problem, because I don't know whether it is a good. Maybe it's better to do during interview, and use it as an example of your skills and your problem solver skills or something like creativity skills. But for example, for in resume, we indicated our achievements with some numbers, as you said, and also some not activity, some duties on this position, on this company, and something like that. But here I see it always the same. Maybe I don't know whether it's really required, mandatory required to give some example, because I have such examples a lot of.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. So the question, if I can rephrase, could also be what level of detail do we need for LinkedIn versus resume and interview
Yes,
examples?
exactly.
And I would agree with you 100% that we don't need the same level of detail. You might see on people's profile they have a summary of their responsibilities and they don't have those clear examples. So I would say work on having these in general, but it's up to you how many or which ones you include in your LinkedIn, if at all. So this is a suggestion and not a requirement, but it is really good to at least for sure have on the resume these very clear results and project or problem contributions. And I would say even more project in the resume and the problem scenarios ready to go for the interview. That's a common question. How did you navigate, a difficult situation? So yeah, in summary, I would say the LinkedIn gives us little prompts that help us to prepare in general for the job search. But you're totally right, Maxim. You don't need to have, this long paragraph of par examples exactly in the profile.
Yeah, but I asked this because we had some actually very very funny situation when one of our employee put in LinkedIn. Actually, he already left our company, but he put in LinkedIn on the experience that he was as a team lead during some real problem we had. But actually, in fact, he was just part of the team, and everyone from our company knows very clearly his role and positions. And I have doubts whether we need to highlight or put it in LinkedIn where everyone can see your experience and especially people or people know who knows you. It was kind of ridiculous to see some situation, and even if it's true and you feel that you played a really huge role on solving this problem, but whether we need to put it there in LinkedIn in the open profile, in open experience, maybe it's better to leave for some resume or interview, something like that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. A lot of information is in fact confidential, or like your example, you don't want the whole company or anyone on the internet to really know that level of detail. So do be careful with what you share on your profile, especially if it's open to the public, which it should be, so recruiters can find you. But yeah, that's a really good point. Not to mention confidential or kind of, let's say, more private information there. And Ksenia had the same question. She asked, what if all projects were client or commercial secrets? Yeah, so like we said, and if you're not sure, like what is appropriate, what is not, like I said, just, reach out to us and we're happy to give you feedback. And then there's another question: if skills are mostly the same on several last positions, do you recommend to link them with each position or any smarter way? I would say don't overlink it to each position. Like if, let's say you have communication skills on every single position, choose the ones that are different to highlight for each one. And then you have your general skills section. And try to do some research by reading different job descriptions of the jobs that you are looking to get. Maybe there are synonyms, or maybe there are sub skills that you can list instead of the repetitive ones. Nowadays, there's just so much language around skills that it's quite possible you can even find a different skill to list. Alrighty, so I just wanted to show you a few examples of what that PAR example might look like. Before we do that, like I said, you can refer to the job descriptions to just understand some PAR examples that are specific to your field or industry. If you work in, let's say, the nonprofit industry, those PAR examples are going to be different than if you're an engineer, of course. So I always find it helpful to have clear examples, and then it's like a structure, and you can put in your own information, replace your own information with that example. What else do I want to highlight here? Yeah, so your contributions with the team, again, with knowing that this is public, so you might really want to check, is that 100% true? You never want to, especially on your LinkedIn, stretch the truth too much since it is public. And then, like I said, numbers to quantify the results. If this is going to be something that is confidential to your company, do not share it on LinkedIn, only include it in your resume. I'd like to look with you at these examples. So this individual is a director of sales, and I've just underlined or highlighted the project examples. So this person has a app download campaign that they were involved with. And one of the challenges in the second line you'll see is minimizing risk and streamlining client communication. So in that case, that's, general information is okay to share. You will see in the second line that we have some results. So increase annual revenue by 150% and team performance by 33%. That's very specific. And if you're choosing to advertise it, it should be obviously information that you're allowed to share, and also information that is true. Here are just a couple action examples: successfully developed, executed, managed. Those are excellent words to include that are highlighting that you really, you actively participated in contributing. There is a great list in our Google Drive that you can refer to. I'll include it in my follow-up email to just make sure that you're not overusing the same verbs. If you're always having started or contributed, right? Try to think, is there a stronger word, a stronger verb I can use, or is there a different verb? Just so that it's not becoming too repetitive. In terms of the result and quantity examples, these, again, decide what is important to mention, but it could be about the result. It could be about, in this second line, conducted 200 plus technical phone screenings, hired 9 front-end engineers. It does help to show the impact and the scope. So decide, is that something that, right, will give you a leg up because it's really underlining, you had a lot of responsibility, or you actually had a lot of communication between many different people going on. Do I have any questions about those examples? So we have the problem project examples, we have the action examples, and the result or quantity examples.
Oh, it's quite clear.
Okay, perfect. So I think what I'd like to do is workshop with anyone who is going to be willing to as a group look at a few examples. And I have some questions here. Oh, did you have a question, Maxim, about the skills section and the language section?
Well, if it's possible. Hello, carry on.
Absolutely. We have a lot of time today because usually I over plan and I talk too much, but today we have lots of time to discuss.
Okay. So about the skills section, well, I don't understand completely how algorithms of LinkedIn work, but I noticed some connection. If I put about 5 skills of my skills in my profile LinkedIn, then LinkedIn proposed me some job propositions, but notices that there are a lack of skills for this proposition. I can add some skills additionally to my profile in LinkedIn, but unfortunately, I think there is it's quite impossible to sort them as I want. So LinkedIn sorts them as it wants. And after that, I see in my profiles that there are some skills on my main page profile, which I do not prefer to show them as my main skills. So is it possible to sort them in this way that some skills will be absorbed in my main page and other will be closed?
Yeah, and do you mean the skills that pop up on the top of your profile or the skills that are contained in the skills section?
Well, I mean that some skills I want to show on my profile main page, and other of them will be in skills section when someone opens.
Got it.
So the problem is
I haven't.
The problem is that LinkedIn shows skills which are not crucial for me. And
right, you want to highlight just like top 5, and it's highlighting them automatically for you. Is that right?
If I delete some additional skills, well, now I have 24 skills in my profile. If I delete them and just remain 5 of them, I will be not noticed by LinkedIn algorithms by job proposal.
I thought that the algorithm pulls when, let's say you click on a job opening, I thought that the algorithm pulls from your whole skills section, including the ones that you have attached to the positions, as well as the ones that you've added to the skills only section. Is that not true? It's not pulling from your whole profile?
Marina, I guess I'm sorry. So I guess I have the same.
It is better to show all of them.
I wanted to correct because I guess I have the same question as Maxim, that for example, you put Ukrainian language as a skill, but you don't want it to be on the top of your main page.
About language is the next question. Well, for example, my example. Let me show in this way. I'm a lawyer by education, and during my work as in-house lawyer on industrial enterprise, my main skill is industrial law or economic law. But sometimes I have different kinds of law, and I notice all of them, and I want that my economic law will be the main skill. The next question is the same about the languages section and profile. For example, I have 6 languages. 3 of them are proficient, so Ukrainian, Russian, and are native. English is fluent, and German, French, and Polish are entry level. So if I put them to LinkedIn profile, it sorts them in alphabetical order. But on the main page, there are 3 languages which I don't want to show on them. For example, I want that LinkedIn show Ukrainian, Russian, and English. But now it sorts them in alphabetical order and shows English and French and German. But French and German, I have entry level. It is not crucial for me. And I want to show that LinkedIn shows them is English, Russian, and Ukrainian. It's not
The
possible
same,
to do
the
it.
same
Or I
question.
don't know how it's possible. On the other side, if I delete some languages and remain 3 of them, people think that I don't know them, but I want that they will know about my knowledge in this language.
Right. Yeah. Okay, let me start with the first part of that question, which is how to reorder different skills in the skills section depending on the importance that you place on that skill. You do have the option, and I'm going to share my screen so that we can all see it as I go. Okay, so if you go to your profile, always start with view profile. And then I'm going to scroll down to my skills section and click the pen is the edit option always. And if I click on the 3 dots, I have this thing that says reorder, and I click on it, and let's see what's popping up. Do you guys see? Do you see what I'm seeing? Yes, the pop-up will allow you to drag and drop. So let's say my biggest skill is LinkedIn. So it's right here. It's like the 6th thing down. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to put it up. And then once I press save, oh, I guess there is no save option. Once, let's say I want LinkedIn and Zoom, and communication to be the top 3. Let's see if that worked. So yes, so now when I go to my skills section, it did reorder and it's showing those top 3 first. If I wanted them though to appear underneath my experience, right, I would have to also add it to those different positions. So we also have the option for each position. Let's say I'm here in my current position to edit down at the bottom the skills related to it. So right now, because I reordered them in the skills section, LinkedIn and Zoom and communication are popping up also for this position, but I had to add them in addition. Okay, so that's question number 2. With the language, I honestly don't think there is a way, because I just looked at it. Oops, I just looked at it on my profile too, and there is unfortunately no way to reorder languages. Scrolling all the way down, see here. And I'm so impressed with most of you like speaking more than 3 languages. In the US, it's very uncommon. So maybe that's why they didn't think of this option. Most people only have 1 language. I would say add all your languages, 100%. Do not leave any language ability or skill out, even if it's just A1. What you can do, yeah, no, there is no way to order them. So yeah, just my recommendation with the language would be add all of them, and especially when you do your application, highlight it in your application in the cover letter, or especially in the resume towards the top.
Thank you very much indeed for your explanation. Quite different.
Yes,
But
no
by the
problem.
way, there is an option
Yeah.
on LinkedIn page that we can put our LinkedIn profile in PDF file, for example. And
Right.
I noticed then when I do it, LinkedIn algorithms mix all skills and languages in the random way. So I think
Oh,
it's
weird.
maybe bug of the site or something like that. But anyway, thank you very much for the explanation about skill section. I will do it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. I hope it was helpful. Olena, is your hand still raised for a question, or was that
Yes,
the old?
yes.
Yes.
I
Hi.
have a question. Hi to everyone. Is it true that a recruiter can't find a person by skill until someone confirm this skill?
Can recruiters find you even without the endorsement? That's a great question.
Yes.
I actually don't know. Does anyone know the answer to that?
No.
I will double check if this is correct. I don't want to say any wrong information, but from my understanding, they can still find you, or they can still, I guess we have to define find. Do you mean the let's say the recruiter is typing in the skill
Yes,
and then
yes,
your
yes,
name?
yes. If he looking for a person with this set of skills.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna double check on that. I don't think so. I don't think it's a requirement. I think that it boosts your credibility when you do have it endorsed, but in terms of visibility, I don't think it has. I don't think it has that big of an impact.
Okay, thanks. Can I ask another question? How
Yes, please.
I can add promotion in the same company? I can't find.
How to add a promotion under the experience section?
In the same company.
So tell us a little
that,
bit more. You worked with the company, and then after a certain number of years, you were promoted to a new position
Yes.
within the same company.
Yes.
I would say you add it as a new position, and you enter all the same information, and then usually based on the responsibilities of that position or the types of projects or scope, it will be obvious that this was the result of a promotion. You could even include a bullet point within that position, like promoted to this and this role due to high performance in, let's say, a past position.
But if about structure, I saw when it was in one company, yeah, it not the new position. It was in one company. How I can this do in LinkedIn?
Yeah. Let's see. How do you have it now? Do you have it all in one?
Yes, all in one. And I put higher in the top, but I want to add that I was a trade manager. Yeah, I don't want to miss this position because it's another set of skills.
Right. So the way that I would do it on LinkedIn, which is different, of course, than how you would do it on your resume or CV, is that you're adding it as a new position on your profile. Even though I understand that it's the same company, but you're still going to go to your profile and click add position. And this time you're going to just change the information on under the experience section. Everything else can stay. Like the name of the company, of course, the time frame will also be different, starting at the date that you were promoted, continuing to however long you had that position.
But we don't have option put in one section in the same company like promotion. We don't have this option.
That's true. Let me show you on my profile what it might look like. So it would be nice. I think that's maybe Olen, you can make the suggestion to LinkedIn to create that option.
But I
for
think
promotion.
I saw this. I think I can't find.
No, we don't have that option. So let's say for example, just using my profile as a guinea pig here. Let's say I got a promotion with Upwardly Global. If I go into edit this position, it's too messy and it doesn't give me the option to add the promotion here, as you said. So my suggestion would be to go into your experience section overall and to add a position, even though I know it's not a new position technically. So we're still going to add it and put in the new title of your promotion, the company name, of course, same, location same, start date is different. So that's what I mean by adding a new, I know it's not new, but adding an additional role here. Does that make sense, Olena?
Okay, yes, okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any other specific questions that you, or something about your profile that you have been wanting to change or update, but you weren't sure how to yet? And since we're on the topic of skills, I really suggest that you have as many of them endorsed as possible. It's not, like I said, it's not at all a requirement, but it will add a level of credibility to your profile. And it's super easy because we have 10 minutes left. I'm just gonna actually go ahead and show you what that looks like. And if you would like me to endorse a skill, please send me a message. So if you're on your profile, oops, sorry, profile, view profile. Hello. Okay. So I'm trying to remember how this works. Demonstrate skill, that's something different. Actually, I think you have to go to your, I'm actually forgetting how to get through it. Does anyone remember the skill endorsement? What are the steps to get your skills endorsed? I know that there's an automatic message that you can send to someone that allows you to get your skill endorsed.
Probably when on your profile section there is a link add your skills in the top near your photo. there you can choose which kind of
But
or
keep
how to
me,
endorse the
Ma.
skills in the
Remember,
top, not in this part of the page, but in the top.
In the top.
I think. Yes,
What kid?
when you add the skill.
Never kid. Never kid.
Okay. Clearly I have to review for myself how to do that. But one thing that is an option, if I go to another person's profile, say I go to my coworker's profile, someone that you worked with, you can very easily endorse that person's skill. And it's always nice when you ask for something to, of course, return the favor. And that's usually what I have done, is going to someone else's profile, endorse them, and then let's say, for example, go down to their skills and you can choose, right, which ones to endorse. So if I endorse Alina's public speaking skill, right, she will receive a message notifying her. And you will not be notified, but she will. And then in that situation, when she writes you back, thank you so much for endorsing my skill, right? That's a window of opportunity to then ask her, would you mind endorsing, you know, and you can be specific, or you can just say one of my skills. But I'll give you guys more clear instructions when I have remembered where exactly you can request the endorsement. And in terms of who can endorse you, can be coworker, can be a person that you went to university with, can be your coach, right? Definitely have your coach that you're working with endorse your transferable skill. Of course, they haven't worked with you, but a skill like communication, like organization, especially the soft skills, they definitely, you know, can speak to, having worked with you on your job search. Same thing with either me or Carolina. If we you know that you're in our program, we're more than happy to endorse your soft skills. Or if you're in the English club, great point to also get your English skills endorsed through that. All right, everyone. We're gonna end a little bit on not late, but also a little bit early, since it seems like there aren't any more questions. Thank you so much for joining. I will be sharing out the recording and the deck with you so you can review. And yeah, thank you for your great questions. I think it's really nice to just specifically answer what you're, you know, wondering, because most likely someone else has a similar question than you. So thanks everyone for participating. All right, have a great rest of your evening, and I will hope to see you all next week for our session number 4.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Lorena.
you.
Lorena,
Bye-bye.
can you
Bye-bye.
remind please
Yes.
when we have speaking club today?
Absolutely. Let me just make a quick pitch for the English Speaking Club. Is every Wednesday.
Wednesday, yes,
And
correct.
for you, let me not get my time zone incorrect. I have to check the calendar. It is from 7 to 8 p.m. CET.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes, great. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Yeah,
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
You too.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.